Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Very interesting article, very interesting people featured in this article, and an interesting title or issue. Let's put it this way, an issue. So let's see what's going on here. We have this article from Advocate, and you can find it in other media outlets. And it's from today, I think, is it? Yeah, from May 1st, 2023. This is the title. Kiss and Twisted Sister rock legends go full-on transphobic. So this guy and this guy, or this guy and this guy, whichever you want. Let's see what's going on here. I, as a disclaimer, I'm for freedom of speech. I think that there should be no subjects that we cannot discuss or have an opinion, how naughty that could be. Obviously, I do not support, inciting to, hatred or violence or, things like this. But I think that the freedom of expression should not be infringed. And the freedom to criticize some other people's freedom of expression against should not be infringed. So it's interesting that these guys here, Stanley and the other guy, I can't remember, D or whatever his name is, they are going to engage in some comments on Twitter, and they're very interesting comments they make, and I would like to share them with you. So let's go and see. Kiss, Paul Stanley, and Twisted Sisters D. Snider both made very transphobic remarks on Twitter over the weekend. Paul Stanley has spent the better part of his 71 years on Earth. Now remember, this is not a positive or I don't want to say neutral article, okay? They don't like these guys. That probably these guys, Advocate, used to like them up till now. Alright, so wearing makeup and high heels, but Kiss co-founder believes that affirming children's gender identity is a, and I'm quoting, dangerous fad. This is what Paul Stanley thinks. This is according to an unsolicited thoughts the rocker shared on Twitter Sunday. Unsolicited. Well, I think he has the right to say whatever he wants. As I said, the singer and guitarist posted a statement titled "My Thoughts on What I'm Seeing." Is that a new song? Which got attention for its bigotry and hypocrisy. He also seems to have gotten sexual orientation and gender identity confused. And I'm quoting. I'm gonna quote straight. I'm gonna start here maybe, and I'm quoting Mr. Stanley. There is a big, capital, difference between teaching acceptance and normalizing and even encouraging participation in a lifestyle that confuses young children into questioning their sexual identification as though some sort of game, and then parents in some cases allow it, end quote, he wrote. And I'm quoting again, there are individuals who, as adults, might decide reassignment in their needed choice, but turning this into a game or parents normalizing it as some sort of neutral alternative, or believing that because a little boy likes to play dress up in his sister's clothes or a girl in her brother's, we should lead them steps further down a path that's far from the innocence of what they are doing, end quote, he continued. So here is what he said. It says here, with my children, I'm quoting Stanley, Mr. Stanley, with my children who have no real sense of sexuality or sexual experiences, caught up in the quote-unquote fun of using pronouns and saying what they identify as, some adults mistakenly confuse teaching acceptance with normalizing and encouraging a situation that has been a struggle for those truly affected and have turned it into a sad and dangerous fad. This is what Mr. Stanley said. Now, we have then the other one, D. Snider, who's 68, he jumped in and he said he endorsed Stanley's message. And here is D. Snider. You know what? I'm quoting. There was a time where I felt pretty too. Felt pretty in quotation marks. Glad my parents didn't jump to any rash conclusions. Well said at Paul Stanley Live. So he endorsed that. After some Snider fans questioned why he contributed to anti-LGBTQ plus bigotry, he dismissed the community. And he says, I'm quoting, "Am I losing a hero here?" Question mark, and quote, a Twitter user asked. And I'm quoting this guy, Snider, "Apparently so. I guess I'll just need to turn in my LGBTQIA plus membership card. Oh, wait, I'm gonna need it in a big way, TBA." End quote, Snider replied. All right, well, this is a thing that is interesting. A lot of things are interesting here. First, both these guys, as I said, they have the right to say whatever they want. These guys have the right to criticize them, and immediately they call them however they feel. Now, I'm not going to comment, obviously, on YouTube what my position would be on this one. I think they should have a free speech, and I think that should tell us a little bit where I stand on this issue. Now, it's very interesting because these guys, both Snider and Stanley, when they showed up, as they showed up in Kiss and Twisted Sister, they showed up. If you ask the parents how they looked then, they probably wanted those guys to disappear, you know. So they were a fad, and they were pushing the extremes when they showed up. It's interesting that now they're 68 and 71, and now they, I would say, dare to have an opinion on that, and good for them. But it's a little bit, I would say, it's better later than never. Another interesting thing about this, I know that Stanley is 100% Jewish. Not that it matters, but, you know. And the other one, Stanley, is half Jewish. And he's also Ukrainian. You can't make shit up, man. Let me give you the evidence, okay? So, Paul Stanley right here, got it ready for you. Both of his parents are Jewish. Not that it matters, but hey. And the other one, Snider, his father is Jewish, whereas his mother is from a Catholic family of Swiss descent. He is also a Ukrainian descent from his grandfather. That's interesting. So I don't think they can really be attacked, can they? I mean, nowadays, if you're Ukrainian, your shit doesn't stink. And, anyway, can't say more. The problem is, as a Jewish person, you would like to be tolerant and all that, but it doesn't mean you're stupid. You know what I mean? You can be tolerant, but it doesn't mean that you have to be tolerant to things that you, disagree with, that might run against your values. Otherwise, we're going to have a kind of a tyranny. And you can be called names, and you keep going. I don't think these guys give up. They were called names, or you're going to have a few guys saying this, because probably they're going to gain on the other side. I remember a guy that I respect a lot. By respect is good enough, because you respect or you don't respect. Respect. I can't mention his name, obviously, and he's alive, so don't think of others that I respect. They're dead. And this person said, when I started speaking out, he said, I lost a lot of my acquaintances and some friends. But he said, you know what? I gained so many other real friends that I don't regret my step in that direction. So this is a guy who was a free speech advocate, let's put it this way. And he was telling things in a very, very intellectual way, and direct as it was, and logical. Very, very intelligent individual. And he wrote a few books as well. So he said, well, don't worry about losing over here, because what you're going to gain here is going to be, I'm not talking about these guys right here, but I'm just saying these guys might have won some, some crazies from the other side, some, bigots from the other side. lost some good people from that side and gained some from the bad side. But so for them, it's not going to be a loss in any way, only in value of people, human value, if you know what I mean. So the same with certain things. You might lose when you say certain things that you're unpopular. You might lose certain people, but you gain others. And remember, courage is always admired, even by your enemies. They might not like it because your courage is going to be directed towards them at times, but they will admire it. So having the courage to be yourself and say as much as you can without ending your life, if you know what I mean, or coming to an abrupt stop, as much as you can, because you take it however you want. We supposedly live in a free world and free speech and all that, but no, it's a lot of consequences that could occur. And you have to be courageous enough to say, you know what, so what would be the worst one? Well, if everything would be about, me happening to me directly, I personally don't give up. Let's put it this way. Whatever happens. I think I personally lived my life to its fullest so far. So not many surprises or excitements here, but this dedicated to a certain direction. But the problem is you have other entities that could cause harm outside of you. And usually that's what they do. Like the mafia, when they threaten you with this and that and this and that. Not with you, not causing you harm directly. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, mafia was just a symptom of our human nature. It just showed a side of us. But believe me, we have it deep inside, or some of us out, still there, where we just, if we don't like what you say, we're going to go and try to get you fired. We're going to try to, picket your house, maybe, blow your car or something like that. You know what I mean? Or, poison your dog or crazy stuff. There are people like this among us. I think, anyway, if you want to look at Mark Dice, maybe you're familiar with Mark Dice. He conducted a lot of interviews in California on the beach or over there, and he asked questions about changing certain things or what they would do with people who denied, the so-called deniers of this or that is about COVID related. And you're going to find out what kind of tyrants walk among us, what they would do with people that are against that or against that or against that or all that. And you're going to be surprised. So check him out, Mark Dice. Probably you are aware of this guy if you are here. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.